Hello, so this is going to be a video on a Dutch MOLLE vest, or an assault vest, whatever you want to call it. And these are pretty much brand new Dutch surplus ones. Not all of the MOLLE pouches I've got on here are brand new, but the actual vest was unissued. So what these were, and Britain did a similar thing, although the Dutch one actually I think is better, is that during the 1990s, basically when the Soviet Union had collapsed, this sort of time if you think about it, like I'd say mid-1990s to early 2000s, lots of nations started putting proper assault vests into sort of use with armies. And what this meant was basically, rather than having a webbing belt and then maybe a yoke with a webbing belt to help carry loads of your gear, you'd have essentially a vest that could either go over armour, or what they tend to do now is just have all the MOLLE stuff on the top of a plate carrier. But obviously the thing is, if you want to go and take this stuff out in the field without doing it in a military sense, you don't really want a plate carrier, because that's a lot of extra bulk and weight, even if you've taken the Kevlar or the plates out. So what a MOLLE vest like this allows you to do is basically have a very lightweight, breathable way of putting lots of pouches on stuff if you want to go out. So what I've got this for is when I'm dog walking primarily, because when I'm dog walking for people, obviously I want water for me, water for the dogs, you know, maybe some snacks on me, things like an inhaler, places to keep my wallet and my phone and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera back a bit in a minute. I'm going to put the vest on and then you can see it properly, because obviously where it's there like that, it's pretty unshapely, but you'll see how it looks. And if you can hear a ticking, it's because I've got the radius scan on there, and because the radius scan came with a little MOLLE pouch, it's actually really good for sitting on there, because you can have it in a position where even if you're out and about, you can hear it ticking if you've got, you know, the sound on, and you can look at the LED flashing without actually having to get it out with its thing, you know. So if you've got alarm set, you'll definitely hear the alarm, and if you're just casually listening, you'd hear if you're walking into somewhere that's slightly radioactive. Which, interesting enough, when I had it out with me today, didn't really find anywhere super radioactive, obviously, but I did find a couple of places when I was dog walking where, obviously, it looked more like there'd been fires there, but I'm assuming people were just burning random, like, junk, and maybe there was something there that had something like thorium in, I don't know, but it was just, you know, a bit higher than normal that you'd expect. Nothing really sinister, nothing worth reporting, but I just thought it was interesting that, you know, when you're out for a walk, you will occasionally come across stuff that's higher than the background in that particular area. So anyway, let me show you what the vest looks like on. Right, hopefully everything will be in frame if I do it here. So there you go. I'm holding it up at the moment by the basically wounded soldier thing. There's a proper name for this, but it's basically if there's a casualty, it's so somebody else can grab this bit and pull you along, and the weight of your body plus all the pouches isn't going to rip, because it's obviously designed to be really sturdy. So this is actually useful if you're not using it in a military sense, but just to hang it on something. So for example, if you go into a thing and you've been wearing it for like whatever you were doing with it, you can just hang it from a coat hook using that, assuming that the coat hook can take the weight of all the stuff you've got in it. So anyway, let's have a look at it. So obviously easy enough to put on. Oh, and by the way, this one is in large, even though I thought the Dutch were some of the tallest people in Europe, and I'm not particularly large, and this fits me really well. So it's a bit adjustable, but that's still a bit strange to me, but oh well. So how it fastens is you've got basically 3 buckles that go across your stomach and chest, and obviously they take a load of the load-bearing weight. So there you go, that's those. And you can tighten and loosen these with straps like that. So when you put it on, the idea is that you fully tighten these. There you go. There's also 2 Velcro bits on each shoulder there and there, which you can adjust obviously depending on how big your shoulders are, or to do with height you adjust those like that. And then you've also got 2 pull tabs here, but they're basically fully tightened for me. So basically you've got your MOLLE system all over the back of it, and you've got your MOLLE system all over the front of it. And the sides basically connect a bit like old flak jackets do with the sort of elasticated stuff. But what's cool about these, if I can find it, is they've got an actual little kind of drawstring tab on it, so you can tighten them with it on without actually having to re-thread the whole thing, which is really good compared to old flak jackets, because if you've ever played about with those, you all know, like I've just done with that there, that you sometimes have to re-thread the entire thing if you need to adjust the tightness of it. Okay, so let me show you what I've got on it. And bear in mind, this might change depending on what I'm using it for, and the more I use it, I might find there's some stuff I don't really need on it, or a pouch might go in a different place. So the top smallest pouch I've got up here, which I didn't think I'd find any use for, this fits an inhaler. And as I said, all of these pouches you can take on and off, because as it's a MOLLE vest, you could buy this and it could come with no pouches, or you could buy it from a retailer that gives you loads and loads of, like, the proper pouches with it, or ones that don't come with, like, you know, any of the pouches that are meant to fit it, as long as it's got a MOLLE system or a way. I think Alice clips attached to this as well, because I think this one has Alice clips on, if I remember the name of them, but they'll clip on as well. So basically, as I was saying previously in the video, although Britain did make these sort of things, and obviously it looks like the Dutch have bought the sort of license to make their own, the Dutch version seems a lot better, because it seems right from the start the Dutch decided they wanted the whole thing to be covered in MOLLE straps, so you know, you could customise it. The British ones, for the majority of the time, seem to be like permanently attached things, you know, so you'd have to buy different configurations or be issued a different configurations of assault vest, depending on what sort of, you know, pouches you wanted on it. So obviously that's a bit annoying if you're getting them on the surplus market, because it means that, you know, you'd have to track down the exact model you want and you can't just customise it easily. I did see that later versions of the British assault vests, some of them in Desert and some in MTP, looked like they had a lot more of a MOLLE system on, so I guess while these were still in service, towards the end, at least the British ones, they did start to realise that maybe a MOLLE system would be a lot more efficient. You know, because that's what most of the armour plate carriers have, is just MOLLE all over them, because it means you can just put whatever you want on. So anyway, that one's got the inhaler in, which is nice and handy, because it just about fits a blue inhaler, and it doesn't take up any weight. Right, so this one is basically, I think, meant to be a magazine pouch, so this is a clasp button one on this one. And as you can see there, you've got the system in here. So what this fits very well is, as you can see, I've got my wallet in there. So you could fit a wallet in there and keys with your wallet on that side, and then you can put your mobile phone on that side, and they'll both fit in. I've got a very big smartphone, like, you know, one of the biggest ones you can get, not as a boasting thing, but it's one, you know, one with a bigger battery capacity, so it's a chunkier smartphone, and that still fits in there. Because I think this is designed probably to take both 5.56 and 7.62 mags, you know, like 2 of each. So, well, not 4 mags at once, but, you know, like 2 mags at once of pretty much any capacity. So that's pretty good. I've got the Radioscan 701A here. I've done videos on the Radioscan before, but as I said, it's useful to have a Geiger counter on you when you're out and about. So when it's in this position, you can actually have the screen off to save battery, and then you can listen for it, and you can see the light flash when it detects radionuclides. So that's good, because obviously that means you don't have to do much of it, it's just there and it works. So that's that there. Now in this pouch, so what I've got down here is a couple of these as general utility pouches, some are various sizes, because obviously not all of them are from the same nation. This pouch I've not got anything in at the moment, it's just one of the little small ones. I thought I'd put it there, you know, because again you can put something like an inhaler in there, or maybe a whistle or whatever you want, lighters, something like that. Right, so in this one I've got, I won't open it up to show you, I've just got a dog, actually might as well, why not. I've just got a dog bowl in here, like one of those ones that you can expand, so basically fill it up with water for dogs when you're dog walking. And as you can see, these, like the British Army MTP pouches, have the sort of drawstring thing, so basically you can adjust the size of it based on what you've got in there and keep it slightly waterproofed. So that's that there. And in this pouch I have got, obviously as you can see, a water bottle. Need to refill that, but this one's just for a water bottle. And again, I've got more where I can put more water bottles if I need be, but that's the one for the water bottle, so that's useful. And obviously with these pouches you can just tighten them as well based on what's in them. This pouch, depending on where I am, because obviously if it's somewhere you can't really legally carry it, I wouldn't have this on me, but I've got a little field knife. If I'm out in the woods or somewhere, then obviously you've got a justifiable reason to have it. If I was walking the dogs in a park, for example, I wouldn't have that on me, but that's where it will go if it's there, and it just gives you an idea of like how much you can fit in these pouches. So in these pouches will fit a knife easily without being overstretched, and doggy poo bags for obvious reasons, because clean up your dog's mess if you're out with dogs. So that's that. Just get that one done back up. This one hasn't got anything in it at the moment, but it was just one of the spare pouches I had, so I thought might as well stick it on. So again, you can't fit loads of stuff in there, but you could fit maybe some, you know, like chocolate bars or cereal bars, ration bars in there or something like that. And this one, again, not got anything in it at the moment, but that's, again, a slightly bulkier one. So what you could do with this one is, for example, have a bigger water bottle or a canteen in it. Or, for example, if you're like me, you could have one pouch when you've got the unused dog poo bags, and then you can put the used dog poo bags in another pouch so you're not contaminating crap with them. You know, crap with crap, but there you go. So on the back, I've got a couple more pouches, not really found any use for those yet, because, you know, they're harder to access, obviously, if they're on your back, but, you know, I might get a little field medical kit, actually, and put that on there, because that would be quite useful just to have out and about, like a first aid kit. You don't need all the trauma stuff in there, but I wouldn't mind a little first aid kit just to go on here just in case of emergencies. And I might clip a flashlight onto it at some point, and that's probably a good idea. And some other stuff, but there you go. So these Dutch vests are really, really good for what they are. So I'm trying to remember what the name of the surplus shop was. It was an online one I bought it from, but you can find them on eBay and other places, and because the place I bought it from is actually on its own website. It might have been something like Forces Direct, but it might not have been. So I'm sorry that doesn't help. But what was quite good is I think you could buy the vest for about £25 unissued, and then you could spend a little bit more and have them with more pouches. So I went for the £30 option, and then that was the vest plus 9 pouches of various sizes and conditions. So, you know, like I said, some of the pouches I won't end up using, because like the tiny little pouches aren't very good for a lot of stuff. But, you know, like I said, the pouches like this are excellent because, you know, you can fit stuff practically in them. So there you go. That's the vest. The only other thing you might be thinking is, can you put armour in this? And the answer is maybe. Right, you certainly can't put armour in the back, because in this vest, if you have a look, there is no way of accessing the back panel. So basically you can't put armour in that bit. That's just designed to be, you know, breathable. However, with these front sections, the bit on each side, you can see there that there is a zip. So you could either, if you wanted to, I imagine if you got the right size Kevlar bits, you could have a little Kevlar sort of panel on each side of your chest to, you know, cover your vital organs with some soft armour there. Alternatively, I guess, you could just use that as extra storage space, you know, if you wanted to put some stuff in there. You know, there's nothing stopping you, as long as, I guess, it's relatively flat, because you wouldn't want something really bulky in there, because it's going to obviously push into your chest a bit. But there you go, so you've got, it's designed so you can put hydration systems on this, and obviously you have got a hell of a lot of room on it for various MOLLE things. But as I said, that's my current sort of setup. You know, like I said, stuff like the knife will or won't be in there. But this is a lot more comfortable than using a lot of webbing belts, even when you attach the yokes to them, because it just takes your weight in a much better way. Because obviously this goes over your shoulders, over your stomach, and it's got several points where it secures. It's not just about with, you know, shoulder straps on it. So there you go. You know, you can put a lot of weight in this and you can carry it comfortably. And obviously the main reason I wanted this is it's a lot more breathable and comfortable than if you're, you know, just trying to wear a heavy body armour, even if you've taken the plate and the Kevlar out. Because if you do that, although the weight won't be much difference between the two, something like an Osprey vest, for example, isn't going to be very good for, you know, letting your heat out, because it's designed to be, you know, like thick body armour, like panels would go in it. So something like this is much more comfortable. I imagine this might go over something like the ECBA fine and do up, but I haven't tried it. But there you go, so this is the body armour sort of, well, without the body armour, just the assault vest, MOLLE vest system I'm using at the moment for dog walking and various outdoor things. And I quite like it. And what you could also do with this, actually, before I forget, just to end the video, is I know a lot of people buy those like weighted vests for doing exercise in. I imagine you could buy one of these, and because it's designed to carry a lot of load, you could buy loads and loads of pouches and fill each pouch with like either a water bottle or something that's going to add weight, like sand. And then you've got your own little exercise vest that's, you know, built to be a lot more ergonomic and comfortable than a lot of the actual ones I've seen, you know, websites sell for exercising. Because a lot of the ones where websites sell stuff like this for exercising, and, you know, the actual exercise ones, they're really kind of chunky. I don't know what the proper word would be, but, you know, where I get the idea that obviously they have to weigh a bit. Like if you want a 10 kilo or 20 kilo, you know, vest, it's obviously got to weigh a bit, but they're not very ergonomic, I guess that's the proper way of saying it. You know, I've tried one of those weighted vests before, and I just couldn't get on with it, because it made you really, like, padded out, because I guess because they put, you know, like, probably that much sand in each little bit of the vest, all around your body, it then made, you know, weight there. But anyway, not much else to say about this, but yeah, it's definitely worth buying if you're somebody who wants to get some outdoor webbing that's comfortable, and this does spread the weight very well, and it really does keep you a lot cooler than if you're wearing, you know, like a jacket with a load of pockets in it, or, for example, you know, as I was saying, you know, wearing a webbing belt is more comfortable, because I found if I have a webbing belt on, especially not with the, you know, yoke systems on them, and you've got like a couple of big satchels on either side, that will cut into your stomach a bit, because obviously you need the belt tight enough that it won't slip down. But when you've got the belt, you know, quite tight, it will often start digging in like that, which can be quite uncomfortable. But as this is very comfortable, very impressed with it. And as I said, if you didn't want to get the Dutch versions, I'm sure there's lots of other similar things, but it does make sense, I'd say, to buy the actual proper army surplus ones, even if they're unissued, you know, because I've seen some companies that do things like this, but they're generally more expensive than the army surplus ones. And if you're getting an unissued army surplus one, you know it's probably, you know, was built to serve an actual job, where if it's one that's just sold to random people, you know, through an online retailer, you don't really know how strong the stitching's going to be or whatever, because as I said, these were designed that you could, you know, pull a wounded soldier by this bit if you needed to extract them. Whereas I really doubt you'd get features like that on the sort of cheapo MOLLE vests that you can find online. So there you go.